It has just been one of those mornings where I've been driving for like 1 hour and 45 minutes to get to my destination, and when I arrived, there was no fog. Fog was promised in northern part of Jutland today, and there was just nada at the different locations that I pointed in that I wanted to go to. Luckily, after a little bit of time, the fog has actually started rolling in. I was just about to give up and just drive home, but I did decide to linger around the main location and just drive around on there's these small roads in this forest here. And I came by this composition right here with these beautiful old oaks. So I have been in here and just down here and checked out if I could find anything, but I actually think that the best composition is up here from the road, at least from what I could find. And you can see right here, it should be pretty obvious what I've spotted. So we have this oak here in the foreground that has these twisty branches moving into the frame. And then to balance it all out, I have included this oak over here. Now I do have one branch down here, so this one there, I do not like that. I'm going to remove that in post-processing. Then I actually have a branch right there in the middle of the frame that I don't like either, and I'm probably also going to get rid of that one. With a bit of cleanup, I actually think this photo turned out quite well. The fog creates a beautiful separation throughout the scene, and oak trees just have this super aesthetic quality to them. If you want to know more about separation, recognizing repeating patterns, balance, depth and much more, be sure to get my 2 ebooks on composition. With minimal text and loads of examples, they're easy to read and I make sure to get to the point fast. And in my brand new ebook, All About Light, I have subchapters about overcast skies and natural light, which are super relevant to this type of photography. Not to mention chapters about color, the impact of post-processing, and some thoughts about using light optimally. You can get all 3 ebooks separately or bundled up via the link down in the description of the video. And as always, a massive thank you to all of you who have already got them. Admittedly, even though there was promised fog in the northern part of Jutland, but because I had to drive 1.5 hours, actually a little bit more, I was so close to not getting out of bed. But I made a video a couple of weeks ago where there's always a shot and just stop moaning. So yeah, stop moaning, Mads. Get out of bed. You're not making new photos by not getting out. You miss 100% of the photos you do not take. It was all good that I actually got out, because I've come to this forest that I've never been in before. Kind of looks a little bit like some of the forests I have visited, but these trees here, gorgeous, and as you can see, plenty of fog for now. It's actually quite a hard place to compose this one here, so with all these trees, because it's all about these lines. I have to zoom in a little bit so I don't include too much of the sky, and so I just have that separation due to the fog between all the trees. But really finding a good composition with a bit of depth where it's just not a lot of trees standing straight up, actually been a little bit hard. So since I've never been through this forest at all before, I'm just oh, maybe there's something over there, maybe there's something over there. Quite like it. It's a little bit more sporadic than when I know my composition beforehand and then I go out and get it. Whereas here I'm just improvising, following my photography instinct. So I just want to talk a little bit more about that moaning thing. I think it's important that we as landscape photographers realize that getting out in nature is in and of itself actually a positive thing. It is healthy for the brain to be in a forest here and just take in the smells. Humans are evolved in nature. We are not used to being inside all the time and sitting in front of the computer, in front of the desk. So just the fact that getting out is healthy in and of itself. It actually does not have to be for landscape photography. It doesn't have to be a goal with it besides actually just being out. It's super healthy. So remember that if you consider not going out, you're missing out on that too. So quit the excuses. Get out and then bring your camera. If you get something, you get something. If you don't, then you don't. You can always make it into a scouting mission like I would have done today if there haven't been fog or the fog haven't rolled in. It's still a scouting mission because it's the first time I'm here. But it's just very important to remember that it is actually beneficial in and of itself to be out in nature. Another thing is that at this time of year, I actually often get hit by uninspiredness. It seems many landscape photographers suffer from this. I know it probably doesn't come through in my videos. Last year was an exception because of the fantastic winter conditions. The reason why it doesn't come through in my videos is probably because I really do not like to sit and moan about it on YouTube, which I find to be super unproductive. I have, however, learned over the years to deal with it by just fighting through it and getting out. I know I don't get points for being obvious, but the best way to deal with a problem is to actually solve it. A couple of weeks ago, I made quite a successful video named There Is Always a Shot, and in that video I photographed a strong subject, but in miserable conditions. In this video, I do not know the location, but I do have great foggy conditions, and over the years I have found that if I just put myself in somewhat favorable conditions, I'll probably find something worth photographing regardless of the time of the year, just as you will see in a moment. But just before we get back to the forest, when flying my drone and making this B-roll, I got this shot with a 7x zoom of the low fog, sunrise, and some wind turbines popping the blades out of the fog. That turned out pretty cool. But back to landscape photography. So I came by this tree right here, these trees right here in the background that are really cool, and I wanted to photograph them, and since I had my wide angle on, I was just like, whatever, just try with the wide angle. I usually do not photograph forests with wide angle lenses. There's something about it just doesn't really work for me. The wide angle lenses have a tendency to make the perspective look relatively epic, like big. There's a big difference between the foreground and background. And for me, forest photography is a bit more of a calm thing. Like, I do not want my forest photos to be like in your face. And a wide angle lens has a tendency to do that. However, I did try this wide angle lens, and there's something about the depth of the scene that I actually like. I have the scene right here, and here is the shot. And you can see like the trees here in the background, they are just like way out to the side. And as you can see, they are actually straight up. And that is one of the reasons why a wide angle lens may not always be the lens of choice. But I actually think I like this scene. I have so much fog here in the background that I actually get quite a lot of depth between the foreground trees here that I quite like because of all this moss and the texture and the trees and the roots. And then the depth kicks in because there's so much separation between that tree and the next tree and the next, and all the way in to the background that just completely disappears in the fog. I think that looks quite cool. Only one thing I do not like is this broken off tree thing right there, and it's quite bright. So I'm going to clone that out somehow in post-processing. And if you want to learn more about post-processing, how I work with atmosphere in a foggy forest, I have several tutorials with that in my Photoshop course, Photoshop for Landscape Photographers. I always start in Camera Raw. Camera Raw is the same as Lightroom. Lightroom is built on Camera Raw. And then I advance into Photoshop to sharpen the photos, and especially for blending photos, such as focal length blending, focus stacking, time blending, and so forth. That is where Photoshop is a necessity. Lightroom simply cannot do it, but most of my very basic editing is happening for the most part in Camera Raw. There is a coupon code down in the description of the video, so you can get $45 off. So if you struggle with editing, definitely be sure to check it out. I really had to do some cleaning of this photo in post-processing. I often have to do that in these beech forests because of the clutter on the ground, but luckily cleaning a photo like this is relatively simple because of the texture of the leaves on the ground. And after the cleanup, I actually think this photo turned out really, really well. I've come past this composition right here. So this forest is actually one where there's a lot of mountain biking. There haven't been mountain bikers on this trail while I've been here. But I quite like how the trail goes down here over the hill and then kind of goes down there. So I'm simply just using the trail right there in the background to compose my photo. The one thing I'm struggling a little bit with is this side right there. I think with this composition, there might be a little bit of a tendency to this area becoming dead space. That is just space that does not add to the photo. It's fine on this side because the trail comes from here. But if I was to put the trail right in the middle, which is not necessarily beneficial, but if I was, then as you can see here, if I walk out on the trail, then the trail pops up behind the trees right there. And that is not cool. I want that separation. So I have to get off the trail and stand here. The good part though is that the trail comes from like one side of the frame, goes up and then out on the other side of the frame. So in that way I think it kind of works, but I am still a little bit in doubt about this area here. But let me know down in the comments if you think that this is too much dead space or if it's fine. I'm curious to know. Personally, I think it's probably a little bit too much dead space for me. So you can always work the composition a bit, and I think I almost solved it by simply just moving a little bit further forward. So by moving further forward, I've managed to get these trees here more balanced so that I still have a little bit of space right there, but it's better than before. And I managed to get this little tree there in behind the big tree. So I can only see the branches now. I can't see the trunk, as you can see if I move out here. And I think that took quite a lot of attention because it stands out from all the other trees by being small, whereas they are big. So by simply just moving a few meters forward, I have recomposed the scene, and I actually think it probably works now. Here are the two photos side by side. Not a massive difference, but let me know down in the comments which one you like the best. So despite me being a little bit uninspired, despite me being up early, despite the foggy conditions not turning up where I initially wanted to go, it all turned out great anyway. Be sure to get my ebooks on light and composition if you want to learn more about those subjects, and check out my post-processing course if you want to learn how I edit my photos. See you next time.